Hey, hockey fans, welcome to today's special episode here on the channel. The 2024 Winter Classic Reflections on the Ice is what I'm calling it. You guys shared a lot of your reflections in a great diary entry type of episode here along the path of Seattle hockey history. The Seattle Kraken took on the Vegas Golden Knights. They just competed in one of the most epic and visually stunning Winter Classics that I can remember. Seems like it gets better every year. I know that the TV ratings weren't so great this year, but this Winter Classic was really a testament to the two newest teams in the NHL, and it turned out to be an incredible event for the city of Seattle overall. Kraken fans and hockey fans from across the country made the trek, and a lot of you were able to experience this moment on a big stage. It was really an amazing spectacle and one of the most unique Winter Classics that I've watched. The amount of detail and love that was put into every single thing that ended up being part of the production, from the decorations, the lights, the music, the flames, the fish throws, the entrance outfits. The weather ended up being perfection. Bowie and Biz got into a fight at intermission. And of course, the Kraken got to yeet the fish at the end of the day. It was a beautiful day in the Emerald City with the roof open at T-Mobile Park. Attendance, 47,313. Joey Decord, the man of the hour, absolute perfection. 35 saves from him and the first ever shutout in a Winter Classic. That's the first time it's happened in 15 Winter Classics. Not the first time in an outdoor game overall, but still pretty amazing for Winter Classics. He was the Coco Cup winner as MVP of the game, and the Kraken faithful chanted his name as they left the stadium. So that win tipped the Kraken over 500 for the first time this season. They had just been on a tear leading up to this game, 5 wins in a row, and now 6 wins in a row. As I record this, the Kraken just beat the Ottawa Senators, so they're 8-0-2 in their last 10 games now, and they've set a record for most consecutive games with the point. Pretty amazing stuff for Seattle fans. Things started off with a Tolvi tally. Ellie Tolvanen got things going. A beautiful tip net front off of the shot from Vince Dunn, deflecting it in, and the Kraken grabbed the early lead. William Borgen scores a blast off of a rebound in the second period, and then Yanni Gourde finished things off with a nice steal and a shot. He stuck with it, got another shot, and put it home for a 3-0 win for the Seattle Kraken. What a spectacle at T-Mobile Park. So for this episode, you guys shared your thoughts, your memories from the game, those of you that were able to go, and I really appreciate it. These are honestly my favorite types of episodes to do here on the channel. It really allows you guys to do most of the talking, and honestly, I kind of need it right now because I've been struggling with my throat and voice for about a month now, probably the longest sore throat and cold I think I've ever had. So thank you guys for contributing to this episode and all these wonderful stories that we're going to share here over the next few minutes. So before we go too far into this episode and your memories that you guys shared, it would go a long ways if you're enjoying the video today. Hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening over on the podcast side, be sure to leave a review. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you don't already. That way you don't miss out on future content and episodes here at Sasquatch NHL. I appreciate the support. I really wanted to put this episode together while the memories were fresh for people. I reached out to the Kraken community here, to all you friends out there, and wanted to put a voice to these memories. It's something we'll be able to look back on. You don't get to do these Winter Classics all the time. So, in 10, 20 years from now, we'll be able to look back at a pretty epic piece of Seattle hockey history for the Pacific Northwest as a region. It was a great moment. On a personal note, this was a lot of fun to put together as well because we weren't able to go as a family here. So it was great to be able to hear your guys' stories and assemble everything together. So let's get to those stories and memories now. I've got a good mix. Some written submissions, some audio clips, some videos as well. So kick back and enjoy the memories for a little bit here from those that were in the building for the Winter Classic. The first submission comes from Megan. Here's what Megan had to say. Last year's playoff run was so amazing and unexpected after year one. I didn't think anything would be able to top it this season. I'm so happy to say that I was very wrong. My Winter Classic experience started yesterday at the Fan Village, where I met up with friends that I met because of this team. There, I was able to do 2 things that before 2021 I never thought I'd be able to do. First, I saw the Stanley Cup in person, and second, I met Brandon Tanev. I had a great, albeit exhausting night with people I'm lucky to call friends. For the actual hockey game, there were multiple facets that made the day unforgettable. First, the players. Their excitement was electric. We got to see how much they love this city, not only from those on point and amazing entrance outfits, but also how they were talking during the interviews. They were having so much fun, and I love it. I firmly believe that this led to what was such an amazing game and a big 2 points against a division rival. Second, the stage. Whoever designed the rink and decor really went all out. The shipwreck with the tentacles, the little frozen pond for the junior players to skate on, the little boats and walkways, everything looked so amazing and the attention to detail was spot on. It was so on brand for the Kraken through and through. Third, the friends. This is a unique experience to me, but I got to see so many people I haven't seen since before the holidays at our meetup. It was so exciting to be able to see my friends and talk to them and see everybody again. Overall, that was one of the coolest things I've gotten to experience today. The Kraken made history in a few different ways, and I couldn't be more excited that I got to experience it firsthand. Thanks, Megan. And you'll hear this throughout the episode. Attention to details, all the decor and the production elements were just amazing. The next one comes from Will. He shared a video with us. He's a Kraken fan and Seattle sports fan, a diehard. And here is what Will had to say.
Hi, everybody. My name's Will Harrison, licensed to Will on Twitter. And I really hope that everyone watching this got to go to the Winter Classic this year. It was just an amazing experience, start to finish. If I had to sum it up in one word, I think that word would be fun. Everyone in the stands was having fun. They had the Seattle sports legends just goofing around with each other, the famous Seattle artists. I didn't get to go to the fan village, but I had some friends who did, and they had a blast over there. And, the Kraken were having fun, and they were playing like it. You could tell even from up in section 342 where I was at, they were just playing smart and confident and taking shots and just having a blast out there. You could tell it was obvious. And Vegas, on the other hand, looked like they just wanted to get everything over with and go home. Of course, the Golden Knights are in a bit of a skid right now. Very sad. Anyway, they didn't even walk on, this is a little thing, but they didn't even walk on the walkway that we'd built, that looked like the dock from the visiting team dugout, except for the pregame introductions. They just cut straight across. Bunch of killjoys. But yeah, it was great. Great time, the whole thing. I think I lost my mind for good when Gord got his goal in the third period. But it was just great to see Seattle put on such a great show on and off the ice. I think the city and the team both really showed up and showed out, to quote Marshawn Lynch, who of course was there. Shout out to both teams, actually, for their pregame costumes. Kraken showing up like the Pike Place fish tossers, which of course were also there. And Vegas, I'll give them credit for this, showing up as Elvis impersonators was a nice touch. But it was just an incredible experience. I hope you all got to go. And if you did, I hope you all had a great time. And you know what? This season's not over yet. We're on a roll. Joey Decord, my word. Hearing 47,000 people chant, Joey, Joey, Joey. That's something that's obviously it's going to stick in his mind, and it's going to stick in ours forever. So season's not over yet. Let's go Kraken.
And it's the last part to me that Will kind of pointed out. This season is really just kind of getting started. There's a lot of games left. And did you imagine this is where the Seattle Kraken would be after that really terrible start and then all the injuries that they had to deal with? It's just been an amazing story unfolding here in season 3. But got to keep it going. They got another win tonight, so they are rolling. Can't wait to see what happens next for the Kraken. The next one comes from Paul Buxton. I think Paul wanted to record an audio or a video message, but he said his voice was completely blown out. So I can kind of relate. I'm doing a little bit better here this week, but no worries, Paul. So here is Paul's written submission for the Winter Classic. The Winter Classic has to rank near the very top of hockey games I've ever attended. It was incredible fun from start to finish, a celebration of Seattle's culture and fervent hockey support. Where to start? The vibe was all smiles and positive energy everywhere. The weather was great, and the pregame intro for the Kraken was an unforgettable moment of Seattle zen that can be rewatched many times as a hype video. The jerseys and coaches' Letterman's jackets were top-notch. Wayne freaking Gretzky was in the building and got a nice ovation from the crowd a couple times. I tried for his autograph after the game and came up just short, but was able to get cards signed by Anson Carter and Biz from the TNT broadcast. The Kraken were awesome on ice and definitely fed off the energy in their win. Joey Decord made history with the first Winter Classic shutout and was one different skip of the puck away from potentially attempting a goalie goal near the end of the game. How insane would that have been? Most of all, it was great to hang out with many good friends, old and new, in the Seattle hockey community and share the excitement. Thank you, Paul, for that entry. What a day for a super fan going all the way back to San Jose, California. Thank you, Paul, for sharing that. Next up, we've got another video submission here. This one from good friend Alicia Crank, Alicia in Edmonds. Let's get to that video now. Here is what she had to say.
Hey everyone, this is Alicia Crank, better known as Alicia in Edmonds on social media, and I wanted to share about my experience at the Winter Classic. I am still on a high from this game. It was everything. You know, as a teenager, I was able to go to the collegiate Winter Classic games growing up in Detroit. So seeing the collegiate teams do this and be outdoors and be cold as heck. But this was my first NHL one, but it was such a busy weekend. You know, you had so many different games going on, and I wasn't sure how the crowd would be at this Winter Classic. Well, I am glad to say that I was wrong. It was amazing. The energy was incredible. Probably one of the best outdoor games I've ever been to. You know, I had to make sure I got my puck before the game began. And it was something being able to stand on the Trident deck and just see this sea of people coming from Lumen over to T-Mobile Park. And it was constant. So to know that we sold that place out 47,000 and some change, and we could have probably even did more, was pretty incredible. And always for me too, you know, the fan experience is great. You know, seeing the players, always great. But it's always, for me, the best when I can see my fellow hockey friends who I've had some great opportunities with over the past few years, to be able to just gather together and be able to enjoy this together and to mark this occasion together. So I hope people had as much fun as I did. I was up on the third level, which I thought was perfect too, because there was so much going on the field/ice that it was great to have that bird's eye view of everything that was going on. So I really enjoyed how fun the event was, how friendly it was. It was so fun to also see the diversity of people that were there, you know, youth, older folks, you know, people from other states flying in and seeing all these different other hockey team sweaters floating around, and it all just felt like family. So I'm grateful that we were able to have it this year. I think it was a great way to kick off the new year, especially with the Kraken on a winning streak. So let's hope that that stays. And I guess I'll see you guys at the next home game.
Thanks for sharing that video, Alicia. I was lucky to cross paths with Alicia in Edmonds many years ago on Twitter, and we've become good friends, and really lucky to have her in our community here and in the hockey community. Does a lot of amazing things. So thanks again, Alicia. We're going to keep having you on the show because you're awesome. Next up, an entry by text. This one is from Jade. Want to share this one. It's a quick one, but we've got a lot of great entries, just all the different angles, different experiences. So here's this one from Jade. Jade says, cheesy, but this was my first big sporting event that wasn't a Mariners opening weekend, and I didn't even go to the actual game. I just did the breakaway event, but the energy surrounding the entirety of the T-Mobile Park was unreal. Seeing a local band wearing jerseys and all the fans gathering around that one area to support our team was actually kind of insane. The cheering being heard from the street and the building they did the breakaway event at was so surreal. This weekend solidified my love for hockey, but especially the Kraken. And you hear that word a lot through these entries: surreal, epic. It was a really cool spectacle that we were very lucky to be able to host here in the Seattle area. Next up, we've got an audio entry. This one comes from Max. Max was able to go to the game, meet up with friends. Looked like it was a great time. Here's what Max had to say about his experience at the Winter Classic.
I think the best way I can describe the whole experience of going to the game was surreal and really just like cool. Like just going into the stadium, and obviously I'm a huge Mariners fan. I've been to many, many, many Mariners games. So walking into the stadium and seeing just hockey jerseys everywhere, being surrounded by not baseball jerseys, not baseball hats, hockey jerseys and beanies, also in the middle of like January or in the middle of winter, was just really kind of like, whoa, like really just sort of surreal too. And then you walk in, I saw the rink, and I'm like, this looks like it's always been here. Like there was no signs of it just being scrapped together, thrown together, sloppy, nothing like that. It was really well put together, and the decor was great, and the layout was great. They got these people in like these boats who I'm just like, how do I get that job? Like I want to be one of those guys to pretend to be a fisherman while watching professional hockey. Like that's cool. The music was great. Sir Mix-a-Lot still got it. Hart still got it. Like they're old and they still got it. And of course the game. It's hard to beat that. You know, it's like hard to beat a 35 save shutout from our favorite Joey Decord. Like it's the perfect game essentially for what I would have hoped. First shutout in Winter Classic history. All in all, it was just a very, very cool experience, and the atmosphere and everything was just great. I loved going, and would definitely do it again. But maybe not with my team. You know, I kind of want to let this sit. I would happily go to a different Winter Classic, maybe with different teams though, you know?
So thanks, Max. That is definitely a job I would be interested in as well. Just pay me to go be at the Winter Classic in a rowboat out in center field. I'm definitely on board for that as well. So thanks again, Max. Sounds like it was a great experience overall. And just all the details, like you pointed out, completely dialed in every little bit of it from top to bottom to left field to right field. Everything was immaculately done. So huge shout out to the production team, all the people doing all the decorating, all that stuff. This next entry, this is going to be a fun one. Two guys from another podcast weighed in. Here's what my buddies over at Kraken Fancast had to say, Jim and Chris. And they were coming to you live from a really cool location.
Hello, Mikey, Sasquatch NHL, Jim Cockrell.
Chris Porter, Kraken Fancast here.
Yeah, we're here. Guess where we're at? There's our seats.
Yeah, I did a little skating in a baseball stadium, just like, usual.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The cherry on top to an incredible Winter Classic week.
Yes, it was just glorious. It was an extended anniversary of mine that came here, and it was epic. It was better than 2010 Fenway. So all I can say is it was flawless. The team played a game over their head that I wasn't expecting. Joey, baby. My fave. I love that kid. From Boston.
Of course.
Anyway, just want to give a report that we were satisfied from the moment we parked the cars, walked up and down the fan village, all the hoopla going in, the salmon tossing.
Pre and post game concerts, and then salmon tossing, the whole presentation, the whole vibe of everywhere. Vegas fans, Seattle fans, just everybody in such a good mood, really enjoying it. We saw an epic game, an epic presentation. I hope they can do this again sooner than later. It was just an amazing time and great for Seattle hockey.
Absolutely. Let's not forget that national anthem either, with them choppers flying in. That was something else. Anyway, we wanted to give you a quick report. It was flawless. It was a 10-on-10 100. Can't wait to do it again. Epic, man. Later, bud.
Go Kraken.
Go Kraken.
So thanks again, Jim and Chris from Kraken Fancast. I'm really glad they touched on the national anthem and the flyover, because the kid on the guitar, holy cow, he's on another level. And just the overall spectacle of everything starting off really kicked it off great as far as watching from the TV side. So thank you guys again. Loved that entry there on the Winter Classic ice, doing a little figure skating. Next up, Matthew sent in a audio submission and also a really cool picture. I'm going to put that up here on the screen and take a look. Had a great view. Here's what Matthew had to say.
The Winter Classic, and what a classic it was. It was my first time actually getting to a game as a fan. Typically, I'm always working the games at the actual arena, Climate Pledge Arena. So being able to actually go and experience a game, not only just a game, but also such a significant game, was just awesome. We were out in the outfield, great views, even with bad eyesight. It was excellent views. I could see all the action, and right away, from the get go, it was an awesome time and atmosphere. Everybody was jovial and having a good time, and just hanging out, and then getting there and into the bleachers, and then watching as everything unfolded. As soon as it kept going on, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is the guys are playing well. They looked great. It was snappy, just nice in your face hockey. And then once everything kept going on, into like the second, and all the Joey chants and everything, like you could hear it all the way on the other side of the of T-Mobile. And so even on the outfield, everybody was kind of getting involved with it at that point. And then like just watching the goals happen, because they were all on that more side closest to like the home plate stands, and you could see the action pretty well and follow the puck well from out there too. It was fantastic being able to experience it all. So yeah, I could talk for hours about how much fun it was, and just how much of a fun experience seeing everything and just being part of it was. So definitely incredible, and I cannot wait for Seattle to host it again.
Thanks for submitting that, Matthew. Looks like you had a great time. That's a great picture, great story, and I appreciate you contributing to this episode here at Sasquatch NHL. Steve is up next. He was not able to talk as well, so similar issue as Paul. The voice just gave out, so I'm going to read this one off for Steve. Mike, I'm going to have to put this one in print because I lost my voice and caught a cold during the game. No worries, Steve. He says, the wife and I were blown away upon arrival. The street scene to entering the stadium. T-Mobile Park is a great venue to begin with, but the transformation to the outdoor rink was next level. Immediately got in line to grab our swag and snacks, then headed down to our seats at ice level to take it all in. Atmosphere was absolutely electric, from the player intros, Sir Mix-a-Lot was a blast, to the CCGD flyover, to puck drop, even if the drop the puck chant came off a bit awkward. Yeah. No one in our entire area sat down. A breach of etiquette, but the excitement was too high. It was cold, but it didn't stop the stinging slap of high fives between all Kraken fans with each goal. The chants of Joey, Joey, Joey were thunderous, especially with that final amazing save. The dude is epic. Every detail is still vividly burned into my memory. Hart was amazing. Bowie was infectious. The Kraken were unbelievable, shutting out and taking down the defending Stanley Cup champs 3-0. Thanks, Steve. Incredible story. Love how you put that. And yeah, Bowie really, he had a great performance throughout the day as well. Don't want to forget about our beloved mascot here for the Seattle Kraken. Bowie, you're the best. And even though Biz took you down during the intermission, I think I posted this on X. I said you might have lost that battle, but you're going to win the war. And Bowie also got him in the dunk tank. So take that, Biz. There's more where that came from. Next up, Gabby with a video submission. Gabby is also a goalie and a big fan of Joey Decord. Here's what Gabby had to say about the Winter Classic.
I'm playing hockey for like a really long time. But this was easily one of the most amazing experiences I've had like ever. First of all, just the energy was incredible. All the way from the fan village, just to the 47,000 fans, the Joey cheer, that like gives me chills to think about. God, I'm gonna cry. Never mind. And the attention to detail was amazing. Just from the Pike Place uniforms that they walked in with, the throwing the fish, the nautical theme, just everything was so freaking Seattle, and I just loved it. Seattle is a hockey town. And also as a goalie, I may have lost my calm and collected demeanor about Joey Decord's shutout. I will spare everybody the video because I would blow your freaking eardrums out.
Thank you, Gabby. I think we all were going crazy when Joey got the shutout. And so, even more cool for you to be there and see it as a goalie yourself. Thank you for contributing to this episode. I do appreciate it. The next submission, Heather, Neil, and Pearl, the dog. But Pearl was on the sidelines. I was on the sidelines as well for this one. I don't think they took Pearl to the game. I didn't double check on that. But here is Heather's submission. Wrote it up, so I'm going to read it to you now. Even as we got on the light rail the morning of the Winter Classic, everything felt different. The energy was high, the vibes were amazing, and everyone was buzzing. As a newer hockey fan, I didn't know much about this event until it was announced we would host it, but what I did know was that I wanted to be there. Neil had known about it, and even before we had hockey here, he knew it was something he wanted to attend in his life, so check this one off the bucket list. That's awesome. I've been to some Mariners games, but I've never seen it as packed as it was for this event. Kraken fans really showed up, and a few Vegas Golden Knights fans too, I suppose. We had seen pictures of the field and the ice, but nothing prepared us for actually seeing it in person. My jaw actually dropped. It was everything you could possibly imagine and more. We made the long trek up to our seats in the 300 level, and everyone walking around was so excited. Neil even said the atmosphere felt more like a playoff game than a regular season game. I actually think we had some of the best views being up so high, and what amazed me was the sight lines were actually far better than I anticipated. I didn't think I'd experience 47,000 people dancing and singing to Sir Mix-a-Lot, but I'm so glad I did. Nothing was better than his initial refrain of, "Seattle, jump on it, jump on it." If you weren't amped from that moment, well, the national anthem would get you there. 14-year-old Nikhil Baga shredded on the guitar in spectacular style. Yeah, he is amazing at his craft. Totally agree. If you needed anything else to hype you up, the fact that Ellie Tolvanen scored at 4:50 into the game off a shot from Vince Dunn, and Lithium blared on the T-Mobile speakers while the entire crowd, sans those Vegas fans, sang out, "Let's go Kraken." I don't think the energy dropped from that moment forward. In fact, it only built with each shot Joey Decord masterfully blocked. Even the shots he had no business of blocking were no problem for Joey, who was clearly locked in. It was hard not to get a little teary-eyed hearing the chants of "Joey, Joey, Joey," while thinking about his journey to this very moment. So deserving. What a way to win against the Vegas Golden Knights, something that usually stymies the Kraken, but not on Winter Classic Day, not in their first outdoor game, and not in front of the biggest crowd they've ever played in front of. A shutout and the first one in Winter Classic history? Are you kidding me? What a way to remind the world that Seattle is here. It's a hockey town, and it's going to take far more than you think to take down the Kraken. Thank you for that one, Heather and Neil, and Pearl, of course. Don't want to leave Pearl out, but sounds like you guys had a fantastic time. Really great way of describing it. Thank you for that write-up. Next up, we've got Matthew with a video submission. Here's what Matthew had to say about the Winter Classic and his experience.
So, Winter Classic memories. I guess the biggest thing I can say about the game, and I could talk all day about the game, is it was as close to a perfect day as you're ever going to get. The weather was great. The fans were great, fired up, enthusiastic, and the boys put on a show, especially Joey. The whole presentation was great. Heart was great. Anthem was great. The flyover from the Coast Guard was amazing. The Sports Legends was very, very special to see. Loved seeing Borgie get his first goal. He's a fan favorite in my house. We just love that guy. But Joey shut out. I think obviously a lot of people are probably going to go with that. Joey making history in two ways. Very special thing to see. Favorite memory is the stadium-wide Joey chant. I mean, it's very, very hard to beat that. Hearing 40,000 some odd people chanting his name. And I say 40,000 because, the Vegas fans were not chanting his name. They were pretty salty. But yeah, the stadium-wide Joey chant was amazing. Um, so yeah, perfect day, perfect game, once in a lifetime. That's probably an accurate statement. I don't know that that'll ever be seen again. But anyway, there you go.
Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that story. Sounds like it was a great time. Really resonates with you as well. The Joey chant seems like everybody kind of brought that up in their story. So that is going to go down in the lore of the Seattle Winter Classic of 2024. Joey Decord just continues to play amazing for this team, has stepped up. And again, tonight with another big win over the Ottawa Senators. He's on fire. Can't wait to see what's next for Joey here in the season. Our final entry comes from friend Derek. He is one of the icebreakers for the Kraken at Climate Pledge Arena during home games, also known as the Shovel People. They help keep the ice clean and in good condition throughout the entirety of the game at Climate Pledge Arena when it goes down. But for the Winter Classic, Derek got to take the game in as a fan. And a quick funny story about Derek. Back when my wife and I were going to one of the first Kraken games we had been to, we ran into Derek on the elevator over by the monorail station there. I didn't know who he was at the time. I just knew that he was a worker for the Kraken, and he said he was, and he had his skates in his bag, and he said he was going to go to work. And come to find out, he was an icebreaker. I didn't know his Twitter account or anything at the time, but my wife recognized him right away when he was skating across the ice. And so he is a legend up in our section when we go to games. Everybody loves Derek. He has some great things to say here. So this is the last one. And I really enjoyed this entry from Derek.
Hello, everybody. My name's Derek, or Pass the Crack on X. I'm a member of the Seattle Kraken Icebreakers. I've been on the Icebreakers since the very first preseason game of Seattle Kraken history. Huge fan, OG fan of the Kraken. And yeah, you can find me at Pass the Crack, K-R-A-K, on X. I just want to start this by giving a shout out to Sasquatch NHL, or Mike. He's been delivering coverage of the Kraken and fostering an exciting and loving environment for the team, really for as long as I have been following the Kraken on social media, on the internet. Truly a stand-up guy from everything I've seen so far, and I appreciate him letting me share my experience with you guys. The Winter Classic, man, was it something I could only dream of. The game was indescribably amazing. The energy was tense, thrilling, and captivating. And the production was great. My biggest takeaway as a core memory from now on are the last minutes of the game. Specifically the last minute when everybody was standing up, biting their nails, waiting to see if Joey Decord could pull off the 35-shot shutout against the reigning Cup champs, the Vegas Golden Knights. Going into this game, there was a lot of flack from the East Coast fans, from the NHL, fans and media around the country, around both countries, Canada and the US, that the Winter Classic shouldn't be hosted somewhere like Seattle on the West Coast between two teams that are the most recent teams to even exist. Vegas having the expansion draft a while ago, and the Kraken having the expansion draft a couple years ago. Two newest teams facing off in a game that has the word classic in it. I never really bought into that. I think the Winter Classic is really just a special game that's played every year on New Year's, where both teams sort of role play like they're playing from a long time ago. I think Seattle is an area that actually has a rich hockey history, you know, being the first U.S. team to win the Stanley Cup. So I never really understood that. I think the results of this game, the production, the first shutout in Winter Classic history, I think that kind of should shut up all of the haters that said it shouldn't be hosted on the West Coast. It was still a great Winter Classic, and it was a historic one, actually. Another point on that is that the Winter Classic started in 2008, and it's not like there were only 6 teams in 2008. I mean, there was already 30 teams in 2008, so everyone who says that is on a bunch of BS, in my opinion. But let's get into the game itself. The only way I can describe this game is that it didn't go by fast, and it didn't go by slow. It was an experience that didn't let you leave each moment you were in. Each stride, each pass, each shot, each goal, and each save felt like its own universe that was capturing your undivided attention. The culmination of each of these individual moments created a moment I will never forget. I've been to nearly every Kraken home game preseason, regular season, and playoffs. I've been to every home playoff Kraken game so far. None of those energies or environments were quite like the Winter Classic. In the playoffs, I couldn't hear myself think because of the noise. That didn't really happen in the Winter Classic, but the energy was just so unique. I'm kind of a mess trying to articulate it, but just know it was unsurprisingly really badass to go out there and watch your favorite NHL team play in a baseball stadium. I was freezing my butt off from the right field bleachers and watching my favorite players rack up goals on the Knights. The only way to describe the mental state this game trapped me in was one of pure flow and focus. I was locked in and on the edge of my seat the entire game. The production was so intricate, and you could tell there was so much attention to detail. The walk from the locker room to the ice was filled with streaming towers of fire and salmon flying back and forth between the players. They put speakers on the perimeter of the ice so that the entire stadium of 47,300 plus people could hear every tap of the stick, careening of the puck on the glass, or communications of the players. This game felt like a turning point in the season. The Kraken were relentless on the attack and defense from 20 minutes to 0 each period. This game did not feel like a 2023-2024 Kraken game. There was tenacity, intelligence, and poise. A deflection goal from Tolvey in the net front, a snipe by Borgen, of all people, from the top of the faceoff circle, and a strip by Yanni Gord that was turned into a 1-on-0 goal where he banged in his own rebound. The Kraken never let up. They were lightning fast to break up plays in transition, while also allowing Vegas to swarm puck carriers with 2 to 3 guys and simply pass the puck to the open man, work it around. The most absolutely insane part of this game, though, and the reason why everyone in the arena was standing up, biting their nails through the last minute of the game, is 100% without a doubt Joey Decord. J-Dak baby. His 35-shot shutout was perhaps the lifeblood of this team I got to witness today. He took home the Winter Classic Coco Cup MVP award, and boy, did he deserve it. Making saves left, right, and center, robbing star player Jack Eichel multiple times. The Decord era has seen the Kraken go 7-1-2 in their last 10 and extend our point streak to 9 games. The dude came out of nowhere, really, and just by circumstance has delivered show-stopping performances. Today he again stopped the show, perhaps playing his best game of his career. There were Vegas fans all around me, but thanks to Decord, I did not hear them once. If you were there, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This was a surreal experience that I will always remember. If you weren't there, you were with us in spirit, and you're part of a shift in this season's energy. Growing up in this area, I've played hockey my entire life, since I can remember existing. Up until the Kraken were formed, I would usually be the one person people knew that played hockey. So now, with the surge of new fans, solely due to the Kraken existing, it adds several layers of surrealty to the reality I got to experience on New Year's Day this year. It was emotional for me to be surrounded by 47,000 other people who all wanted to enjoy a New Year's Day hockey game with everybody else. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Winter Classic. In a nutshell, it was completely perfect from start to finish. Go Kraken.
Kraken fans, make sure you say hi to Derek if you see him out there in the community. Fantastic icebreaker. Does a good job for the Kraken. So that is the last one. Thank you guys for being a part of this episode. Just wanted to remind you one more time before we go. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button or leave a review over on your podcast app. And if you weren't able to get me your memory before I edited this together, I would love to hear from you guys still. So please leave a comment down below. I'll try to respond. And let's keep this thing going. Kraken headed in the right direction. It was an epic day. And I want to say thank you once again for everybody sharing all of their stories and memories and being able to provide this episode for you guys here. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Talk to you next time here at Sasquatch NHL.